सुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय शुश्रूषोषद्धधानस्य वासुदेव कथारुचिः स्यान्महत्सेवया विप्राः पुण्यतीर्थनिषेवनात्. O twice born sages, by serving those devotees who are completely freed from all vice, great service is done. By such service, one gains affinity for hearing the messages of Vasudeva. Shrinvatam svakatah Krishnah punyashravanakirtanah hridayantasto hyabhadrani vidunoti suhritsatam. Shri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, who is the Paramatma, super soul in everyone's heart, and the benefactor of the truthful devotee, cleanses desire for material enjoyment from the heart of the devotee who has developed the urge to hear his messages, which are in themselves virtuous when properly heard and chanted. Nashta prayeshvabhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtiki. By regular attendance in classes on the Bhagavatam and by rendering of service to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed, and loving service unto the personality of Godhead, who is praised with transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact. Tada rajastamo bhavaha kamalobhadayascha ye cheta etair anaviddam sitam sattve prasidati. As soon as irrevocable loving service is established in the heart, the effects of nature's modes of passion and ignorance, such as lust, desire, and hankering, disappear from the heart. Then the devotee is established in goodness and he becomes completely happy. Evam prasannā manaso bhagavad bhakti yogatah bhagavad tattva vijnanam mukta sanghasya jayate. Thus, established in the mode of unalloyed goodness, the man whose mind has been enlivened by contact with devotional service to the Lord gains positive scientific knowledge of the personality of Godhead in the stage of liberation from all material association. Vidyate hridaya grantish chidyante sarva samshayah kshiyante chasya karmani drishta evatmanishvare. Thus, the knot in the heart is pierced and all misgivings are cut to pieces. The chain of fruitive actions is terminated when one sees the self as master. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Sham Kunda, Radha Kunda, Giri Govardhan Ki Jai, Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai, Navadip Dham Ki Jai, Ganga Jamuna Tulsi, Bhakti Devi Ki Jai, Ananda Koti, Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai, Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai, Go Premanandi. All glories to the Selma devotees, all glories to the Selma devotees, all glories to the Selma devotees, all glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namane Namaste Saraswata Deve Gauravani Prachadane Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Dejatarane Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaurabhakta Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. From Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 11, Chapter 2, Verse 3. Tam ekadatu devarshim Vasudeva grihagatam Architam sukam asinam Abhivajedam abravit. Him ekada once, two, and Devarshim, sage among the demigods, Vasudeva, Vasudeva, the father of Lord Krishna, Griha Agatam, who had come to his house, Archatam, worshipped with paraphernalia, Sukham Asanam, comfortably seated, Abhivadya, respectfully greeting him, Idam, this, Abravit, said. Translation. One day the sage among the demigods, Narada, came to the house of Vasudeva. After worshipping Narada with suitable paraphernalia, seating uncomfortably and respectfully bowing down to him, Vasudeva spoke as follows. Text 4. Sri Vasudeva said, "My Lord, your visit, like that of a father to his children, is for the benefit of all living beings. You especially help the most wretched among them, as well as those who advance on the path towards the Supreme Lord." Uttama Sloka. Purport. Vasudeva herein describes the glories of Narada Muni. And the words Kripanam Yata Pitara Uttama Sloka Vartanam are significant. Kripanam refers to the most wretched persons, whereas Uttama Sloka Vartanam refers to the most fortunate, those who are advanced in Krishna consciousness. Sridhar Swami has stated, Tata Bhagavat Rupasya Bhavato Yatra Sarva Dehi Nam Swastaya Iti. The word Bhagavat Rupasya indicates that Narada Muni is an expansion of the Supreme Lord, and that his activities therefore bring immense benefit for all living beings. In the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, Narada Muni is described as a manifestation of the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. There it is stated that Narada is especially empowered to give instructions in the art of devotional service to Krishna. Narada is especially able to advise the conditioned souls as to how they can dovetail their present activities with the devotional service of Krishna without unnecessarily disrupting their present life. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati has defined the word kripana by quoting from the Brihad Aranyaka Upanishad Etat Akshram Gargi Abhidit Va Asmal Lokat Praiti Sa Kripanaha. O daughter of Gargacharya, he who leaves this world without learning about the infallible Supreme is a kripana or miser. In other words, we are awarded the human form of life so that we may understand our eternal blissful relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. As indicated in verse 2 of this chapter by the word Indriyavan, the human body is specifically awarded so that we may serve the Supreme Lord Krishna. This human form of body is the greatest fortune because the highly evolved intelligence of human life enables us to understand Krishna, the Supreme Truth. If we are unable to understand our eternal relationship with God, we shall derive no permanent benefit whatsoever in this present life, nor can we ultimately benefit others. One who receives a great treasure but can neither use it himself nor dedicate it to the happiness of others is called a miser. Therefore, a person who leaves this world without having understood his actual position as a servant of God is called a kripana or miser. This verse states that Narada Muni was so empowered in devotional service of Krishna that he can lift even most miserly rascals out of their illusion, just as a kind father goes to his child and wakes him up from a distressing nightmare. Our present materialistic life is just like a troublesome dream from which great souls such as Narada can wake us. Narada Muni is so powerful that even those already advanced in devotional service to Krishna can greatly enhance their spiritual position by hearing his instructions, as they will be given here in the 11th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Therefore, Sri Narada is the guru and father of all living beings who are originally devotees of the Lord and who are now artificially attempting to enjoy the material world and the material bodies of human beings, animals, and so on. Translation. Sri Vasudeva said, "My Lord, your visit, like that of a father to his children, is for the benefit of all living beings. You especially help the most wretched among them, as well as those who were advanced on the path towards the Supreme Lord, Uttama Sloka." So, Vasudeva is about to make some request, or a question to Narada Muni, but at the beginning here he begins to praise Narada Muni, which is often the custom we see when people meet. They just don't directly ask questions, but first of all they give some praise. So here Vasudeva is praising Narada Muni. Of course, Vasudeva also is a perfect being. He's the father of Krishna, so he's not in illusion and he doesn't have to ask any questions. And Narada Muni, a great sage, is also a Shaktavesh avatar of the Lord, so he's in a high position and is worthy of all respect. So Vasudeva shows great respect to Narada Muni for the role he is playing. Vasudeva is in the position of a householder, also as a kshatriya, and Narada Muni is a wise sage, Brahminical in nature, famous for his teachings. So it is natural that Vasudeva would give respect to Narada Muni and inquire from him to get knowledge, in spite of the fact that Vasudeva actually has all knowledge. So, in other words, Vasudeva is acting on behalf of all living entities. So he begins by praising Narada Muni. He addresses him as Bhagavan. Now normally we say that Bhagavan is referred for Supreme Lord, not for any jiva. But of course we also know Narada Muni is Shaktivesh avatar, so in one sense he's special. But sometimes even the word Bhagavan is used for other living entities like Vidura or others who were not Shaktivesh avatars of the Lord, but nevertheless they're great devotees. So sometimes they are used to praise a devotee also. So that is because the literal meaning of the word is that one who possesses good qualities. So devotees possess good qualities, so in that sense they're Bhagavan. On the other hand, we know that Supreme Lord possesses all wonderful qualities to the highest perfection. So then he's the real Bhagavan, the real person with all wonderful qualities. He's the highest person. So, in any case, sometimes the word is used to indicate persons in this material world who have good qualities, usually devotees. So, therefore, no problem in addressing Narada Muni as Bhagavan, because he exhibits all wonderful qualities as a very great devotee. Vasudev says that the visit of Narada Muni is for the benefit, or the swasti, the good fortune of all beings. And then he qualifies that by saying for the kripanas and for those who are uttama sloka, vartmanam, those who are treading the path of the Supreme Lord, those who are in the path of devotion and those who are not on the path of devotion. Narada Muni is merciful to all of these. He benefits all of these living entities. So, in other words, the nature of the devotee is to give out mercy such that everyone can get benefit from it. However, we do know that mercy is according to qualification also. Now the devotees like to give out mercy to even the most fallen persons. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also is like that. He wants to deliver everyone. Nevertheless, scriptures also tell us that there is a qualification for mercy. There's a qualification for teachings. So we say, do not preach to the faithless persons. So we can't give the mercy of teachings to people who have no faith. If we do, it's called offense. So in some cases we cannot give out mercy, at least in that form of teaching. So that does not mean that the devotees are not merciful or they show no compassion for those living entities, but that type of mercy particularly is not going to be of benefit to them, so they are not supposed to give that type of mercy. So if we give teachings to the wrong persons, they, instead of getting benefit from it, they will develop hostility. So therefore, we avoid doing that. But the devotees, as I said, are merciful to everyone, even those who have no devotion or those who are very unqualified for teachings. The devotees are merciful to those persons also. In the normal varnashramic system, it is a little difficult for the people with no qualities to get mercy. So therefore we have persons inside the varnashram system and persons outside the varnashram system. And those who are outside are completely ignored. They're hopeless. So therefore the rules and the mercy are given to those who agree to accept that particular system. Then they can advance. Bhakti is a little different, because the devotees can be merciful to people inside the varnashram system and people outside the varnashram system. Those who are jnanis also cannot operate so freely. A Jnani can only give mercy to someone who is very Brahminical and teach a Brahminical person, one in Sattva Gun. Other persons are not qualified for Jnana, so he cannot preach to them. But the devotee, he can somehow give mercy to everyone. And he can even preach to someone outside the varnashram system. But that person would have to develop faith. So the devotee is not restricted by varnashram at all, inside or outside. He can give mercy, and he can also give instructions. Well, at the same time, even for a person inside the varnashram system, if the person does not have faith, the devotee cannot give mercy in the form of teachings, because that's aparad. The person has to have faith. So there is some restriction in that way, not upon whether you're in the varnashram system or outside the varnashram system, but whether you have faith or no faith. That's the restriction for the Vaishnava, for preaching directly and giving teachings. So the devotee is less limited than persons who follow other processes and giving out mercy in the form of teachings, because he can give inside or outside the varnashram system. But limitation is faith. Inside the varnashram system, jnana is limited to people in sattva gun. Yoga also limited to people in sattva gun. So there's some limitation there within the varnashram system. But then we have giving mercy to others without giving teachings, people who have no faith. So the devotee can also give mercy to others who have no faith, but he cannot give teachings, but he can give mercy anyway. So this puts another, we can say expands the preaching field of the devotee, because he doesn't have to limit himself even to people with faith. He can also give mercy to others as well. So this shows the power of bhakti. Somehow a bhakti can influence persons even if they don't have faith. In the form of teachings of bhakti, of course, no. They need faith for the teachings to operate properly and have good effect. However, the devotee can also give mercy to other persons without faith. So not in the form of preaching, but in the form of engagement. So they can somehow engage in devotional activities. They can hear the name, they can see the deity, they can take prasad. That's all. That's the mercy that the devotees give to the people who don't have faith, inside the varnashram system, outside the varnashram system. So in this way, the devotee gives mercy freely, but he's restricted in giving teachings. But he's not restricted at all in giving out mercy to everyone. So the devotee who is intelligent will understand this distinction, and he will not commit offense by preaching to the faithless persons. If someone has less intelligence, then he may start preaching to faithless persons, and then he commits offense. And that is, to say, detrimental for his own advancement also. So the devotee is should be very intelligent and discreetly give out his mercy in the proper way to the proper person. So the devotee must have some intelligence to judge the qualification of a person, and therefore the way in which he can give him mercy, through preaching or not through preaching or whatever. And in this way, the devotee becomes successful. So Narada Muni, of course, is a very elevated devotee. So here Vasudeva is saying that Narada Muni, yes, he gives mercy to everybody, even the Kripanas. The Kripanas are the ones that don't have any interest in spiritual life. They don't have any faith. Still, he gives benefit to them also. And of course, he gives benefit to those who are on the path of devotion as well. So Narada Muni does understand the distinction between these types of persons, and he gives mercy in the proper way. So, of course, Narada Muni, because he is in such a high position of devotion, has immense Shakti of Bhakti, he can do extraordinary things with his mercy. So we have what is called Kripa Siddhi. People get perfection not by qualification but just mercy. So Narada Muni is one of those persons. Not because the person is a devotion or has faith or does a lot of service they get advanced, but simply by mercy they get advancement. So very great devotees like Narada Muni can do that. Of course, Krishna can also do that. So thus Krishna kills Putana and she ends up in the spiritual world with a spiritual body. No qualification, really. She gets there. No faith. But the devotees like Narada Muni also give faith, and persons can very quickly advance beyond what would be normally expected. So we see that Margari the hunter in 3 months got bhava because of the mercy of Narada Muni. So he was very unqualified, but he had one good quality: he respected Narada Muni. That was his good quality. He didn't respect him in any way, and he followed his instructions, so he had some qualification. Otherwise, a very low position, not really in the Varnashram system even, because he was not following any rules even for a Sudra. But he got the mercy of Narada Muni, and then very quickly he advanced. Not because of his endeavors so much, because of the mercy of Narada Muni. Of course, Narada Muni says it's because he chanted the holy name, so therefore he advanced quickly. But we could say it's a combination of those things. So a great devotee like Narada Muni is very, very compassionate to all the fallen souls, and therefore he gives mercy out very, very generously to people who are in very low positions or inside or outside the Varnashram system. And because of his mercy, they can also advance quite quickly. Another example is Dhruva. Narada Muni gave him some instructions on how to worship the Lord. And then within 6 months or so, he was able to see the Lord. Again, very quick advancement, even though he's only 5 years old. So Narada Muni was merciful to Dhruva, even though he was just a small child, 5 years old, and of course he was a stubborn Kshatriya who had ambitions, material ambitions. Still, he was merciful to him. So, therefore, the Narada Muni shows great compassion to all sorts of persons, and they can advance by that. Sometimes, of course, we see the mercy operates in a little bit of a different way. He cursed the sons of Kuber. That was his mercy, because they were very proud and they offended. But we should not think that he was just angry and therefore he cursed, because the curse actually was a blessing. So it's due to that curse that they got the mercy of Krishna finally, and they got the darshan of Krishna and the touch of Krishna. So, therefore, that curse was also a type of mercy, and they got great advancement because of that. So the devotees of the Lord are merciful to everyone, and they try to benefit all living entities. Here the comparison is given to a father, like a father is shows mercy to his sons, even if they're not so qualified or whatever like that. He's still compassionate to them. So Narada Muni is compassionate even to the Kripanas. So this word is used, as explained in the purport. in the Brihad Aranyaka Upanishad, in talking to Gargacharya's daughter, Gargi, who was a great sage, a woman sage in ancient times, who was highly qualified, and therefore she got to ask questions to the great sages. So here the statement is made that the Kripana, who is in ignorance of the Lord, he who is ignorant of the Lord and wastes his whole life and then departs from this world, he is called Kripana, which can mean miserly or just miserable, suffering, unfortunate, or whatever. So one who doesn't know the Lord throughout his life, he is certainly a miserable person. In other words, they just get another birth in the material world. Or in terms of miser, a miser is a person who doesn't spend his money wisely, and he holds the money and doesn't give benefit to anybody. So the person who does not use his human life properly so he can get good benefit from it, he is called a miser. He doesn't use up the birth as a human being properly, but rather he wastes it away. He is called miser. So the person, in other words, the human being is endowed with higher consciousness, higher intelligence, higher perception, and ability to understand scriptures. And if he doesn't take advantage of that intelligence and follow the scriptures and come to the conclusion of the scriptures, then he wastes his life. He misspends his life like a miser. So that is the analogy given here when using the word miser. This word is used in the Bhagavatam here. Narada Muni gives mercy or gives benefit even to the misers, even to the people that have no interest in spiritual life and are wasting their life away. There, he's compassionate. But the lesson to learn is the compassion is shown generally in different ways to different types of persons. To those who have no interest in spiritual life, we cannot preach directly, and therefore we have to engage them in devotional activities as Agyata Sukriti. Those who are on the path, we give mercy by giving teachings. So that is the method in which Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his followers deliver the souls of the fallen world by these two methods. And one who's a Madhyamadikari should take advantage of this distinction between faithless and faithful persons and preach to the proper person at the proper time and avoid preaching to others, but nevertheless give them mercy by engaging them somehow in devotional service.
Movement also. It started where Prabhupada or Narad Muni preaches to anybody. They preach to everybody. Like Narad Muni also, whomsoever he met, he preached. Same Prabhupada also did. The movement also, our history of movement also is like that. ISKCON is doing it. Mahaprabhu also did. Whomsoever he met, he did. So my question is, now the bhakti starts after the faith actually. But where here we see the bhakti startings as soon as the devotee is giving an association, and the faith develops later on. So, but actually bhakti starts when the faith is there. It doesn't start before that. So, but here we see it's different, other way around.
Well, the bhakti before faith is not so much active. We can say it is either accidental or passive. So you can hear Hare Krishna. But in order to understand everything, and then somebody has to speak and explain, okay, the word Krishna means, Krishna holding the flute, he's blue in color, he's not a jiva, he's Supreme Lord, etc. like that. So that type of preaching, technically, you give to the people with faith. If you give it to the people who hate Krishna, then they will reject it, and they will insult Krishna and the devotees, so it backfires. But just to hear the name, or to see the deity, or take prasadam, those type of things, that is how you preach to the faithless persons. In other words, we engage them in bhakti without their really knowing it's bhakti, and without creating a hostility in them. Then we have an in-between stage. So we may give explanations to a crowd of people. We don't know who's faithful and who's unfaithful. We're assuming that they have some interest, so therefore they're not hostile. If they were hostile, they wouldn't come at all. They would avoid. Yeah? So hopefully that they've gathered and they're listening because they have some favorability. So in that sense, they have a little bit of faith. So then we can give. But even then, the instructions will be very simple. They will not be so high. They will be very simple things. And you see that's what Prabhupada did. Most of his instructions are very simple. You're not the body, you're the soul, or something like that. To people in the beginning.
So you find that Nardamuni comes personally and preaches to his devotees in different yugas. The question may be arise that in Kali Yuga, he's not coming because Mahaprabhu has come or Prabhupada has come. We don't see in Kali Yuga anywhere mentioned that he comes directly in.
Well, Narada Muni comes at various times. Usually we see he comes on very special occasions, often when the Supreme Lord is there. So when Krishna was here, then Narada Muni comes to Dwarka or whatever, and he's speaking to Vasudeva. Actually, he's born, manifests at the very beginning of Brahma's day, and actually Brahma's life, and he lasts throughout the whole of Brahma's life, appearing now and then in the different Manvantara periods, in the different yugas, etc. Some of the incidents are related, not all of them. He's free to go anywhere at any time, not only on Earth planet, but heavenly planets, and up to Brahma Loka, and in spiritual world also. So he can do that. But generally, we see that it's very special cases where he manifests himself to persons. Often when the Lord is also there, but sometimes independent of that also, he may manifest himself and give mercy to different persons, like Mrigari the hunter or someone like that. But special cases in general. So that's Narada Muni, because he is also avatar in one sense. Like Supreme Lord doesn't come all the time. Krishna comes once in a day of Brahma. Matsya comes 14 times, and Nrsimhadev once, and Varaha twice, whatever like that. So avatars don't show themselves all the time. That's the nature of avatar. So the solution to not having such great personality is we have other devotees there, not on the highest level, but they're also devotees. So therefore we get acharyas and other ones, other persons, other devotees who come, and they also give out mercy.
So in the Prabhupada mentioned Nardamuni is a guru, and such an exalted personality. We don't celebrate his appearance day or any temple worship. We don't find anywhere in India Nardamuni being worshipped. Whereas other acharyas, and we worship them.
I don't think there is an actual day when Narada Muni appears. We don't have an appearance day of Narada Muni. He was one of the first persons to appear in the lifetime of Brahma, and when Brahma was born and came out of his mind or something like that. So we don't really have birthday. There are dates for like Matsya and Kurma, etc. I think celebrated in some places, but Narada Muni I've never seen. No. Sometimes the preacher gets killed because they preach to hostile people. Russian Africa, can a devotee take this much risk? Well, they can, but at the same time, one should be intelligent enough to avoid certain situations, because if you get killed, then you can no longer preach. So we try to preserve our life also. And it may not be worth the risk if most of the people are hostile anyway. So we have to be a little intelligent to judge where is the best place to expand the preaching.